My father, Vietnam veteran, was involved all of my life with serving our unhoused population. And as a kid, I call it now mandatory volunteer work, but we didn't have a choice. And our father had us out serving the community, feeding um, unhoused populations, helping out where we could. And that was something that always stayed with me.
Welcome to Engaged with the League, a podcast of the Pennsylvania Municipal League powered by AT&T, where we explore issues that affect you and talk with people that can inspire you in the daily work that makes up local government. Today, League Executive Director John Brenner sits down with York Mayor Sandie Walker to discuss York's answer to the very serious issue of encampments and to learn more about her life and inspiration.
Well, here we are for our podcast for the Pennsylvania Municipal League, and we're honored to have our board member and my mayor, Mayor Sandie Walker from the great city of York. Mayor Walker, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. And of course, from former mayor to mayor, I always love spending time with you.
Well, you are an awesome person, and we're going to talk about a topic that I know is very close to your heart, and it's really important, of course, to the people here in York. You've done an amazing job in a very short period of time as mayor, and I know one of the top issues you've been working on is called the Compassionate Clear Out.
Yes.
And for people that don't know what that's all about, what is it and why is it important?
Well, when I took office in January 5th, there were, of course, inherited issues that needed to be addressed. One was our homeless encampments throughout the city of York. So we had many of our unhoused population that were given the permission by the previous administration to pretty much set up in a particular area of our city. And there were issues that were occurring with that, in addition to the increased number of individuals that were there, and associated risk and problems that were happening in the area. So, uh, me in this particular role as mayor, I had to take into consideration not only the individuals that were there in the encampment areas, but also our residents who lived around the area, in addition to our staff, public safety, public works, police, fire, and then that's what led to the conception of the Compassionate Clear Out.
So the biggest encampment, if we want to call it that,
Yes.
was in the west end of town at what's called Bance
Bance Park.
Odeon Park
Yes.
area.
Vance Park and our Heritage Rail Trail areas. So uh, when it came to the size of this encampment, it was over a mile.
Wow.
So it was the largest encampment in the history of the city of York. We know that homelessness is very cyclical. So you'll always deal with various encampments that pop up from time to time. But because of the nature and the history, this was the largest in the history of the city of York. And we had to make sure we brought all stakeholders to the table to address this, understanding that we're still dealing with human beings. We need to be compassionate. We need to offer the resources that are available, but in addition, take into the consideration everyone that's affected by it.
So you're really talking about a large number of people in that area.
Mm-hmm.
How many people? And we're talking about various ages, including children.
Yes. There were children. At one given point, the count was over 150.
Wow.
Yes. And then our wonderful partnerships. What I did start in February, it's called our Unhoused Response Initiative Task Force. So it's a combination of public sector and municipal government. And so understanding our role as municipal government, we can only do so much. So we rely on our nonprofit social service agencies to help us out. So they provide the case management, the counts, and keep us updated. And that's how we are able to stay up to date with information.
In fact, most of the services are really coming from those entities, those agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And the county of York is supposed to be, as one of our 67 counties in the Great Commonwealth, is really supposed to be charged with human services.
Absolutely.
So how did the county and you all, the city, and the other agencies work together?
We invited the York County Coalition of Homelessness. They are part of our task force. In addition to working with county commissioners for resources. So when we had our clear out at the beginning of June, they were able to support with staffing,
Mhm.
and it worked out well.
Good. So Public Works literally had to come in with your crew from Public Works and help folks get their items together. And these folks during this process were given an evaluation. Were they given some sort of a health assessment?
Yes. So back in February, we knew that we needed to make a decision when it came to the clear out date. So we were going to do it at the beginning of June. And so it was a matter of prepping up until that date. So our communication started internally. Me being new into this position, I wanted to make sure I used the expertise of our staff that have been here for decades, police officers that have worked with the population, public works, decades of experience. So for me, it was making that decision, but making it based on recommendations from the team. And so we covered what we needed to do internally. We developed our police outreach, which a lot of times with our police, it can be positive and it can be negative other times.
Sure.
The perception from that particular population isn't always positive. And so we wanted to spin that. And so with our police officers, as they continued to communicate with that population and do walkthroughs, we partnered with LifePath.
Mhm.
They provided the case management. So whenever you would see an officer, you would see someone from a social service agency. We also wanted to make sure we had the messaging very clear. So once we went public in May for the date, every week we sent out teams to communicate. In that time, LifePath was able to house, I believe, 15 individuals who wanted the help. By that time, leading up to 30 days, leading up to, there probably was about 40 individuals still there. And with the partnership with the social service agencies, with the nonprofits, we were able to provide case management, shelter for those who wanted the help.
Sure. And obviously, a number of these folks, as we've seen with the unhoused across the country, whether it's Philadelphia or Pittsburgh in our state, or Harrisburg, where our office is located, or a number of boroughs and townships, it
Mhm.
really impacts everybody, wherever it is. There are a lot of folks that certainly have mental health issues. Is that where the county and some of the other agencies can really help step in? And what are the gaps in mental health that we're not getting to the people that need help?
That's a very difficult because each situation is unique. Um, York County did offer assistance through mental health, MHIDD.
Good.
Uh, we have partners such as WellSpan, who opened up a 24-hour clinic right here on South George Street. So it was a matter of us, which we created a resource rat card to give out to individuals as well. They may know the information through our other stakeholders, but we wanted to repeat that communication. Um, Behavioral health, some of the other issues that are attached with that, it's always difficult because you can't force individuals.
Absolutely.
And then you want to be very careful when it comes to the enforcement. So that was the messaging when we put out compassionate, is that we did not want any unnecessary confrontations. We didn't want anyone to feel like we were targeting them, but we had to get the messaging out. And so the partnerships between WellSpan, between the nonprofits, I think it softened the presence when law enforcement
Mm.
was in the area.
And there were certainly people that took advantage
Yes.
of the services and the help, and
Mhm.
some did end up getting housing.
Yes.
And certainly, I guess the other question some folks might have is, okay, this is fantastic the way you handled this. It's absolutely nothing's perfect,
Yes.
but to the best of your ability and the city's ability and all the partners. But how do we make sure it doesn't turn in to another encampment and another large issue in a year or down the line? What are some of your thoughts if you had all the funding in the world to help solve this issue of unhoused and people who are just struggling every single month to pay their rent, and to live in their current circumstances. What are some of the things you think local, state, federal government could be doing together to help make a difference?
Well, here in York, I believe, we're unique from our counterparts, in particular, I think of Lancaster. If we had the funding and we're operating in the state that we, are accustomed to here in York, it would be to support the agencies that are doing the work. And I don't want to continue to name,
Right.
as it seems as though I am supporting one over the other. But LifePath has their capital campaign for Philadelphia Street, a property there. They've been doing the work. Um, if we had the funding and could just drop it at the second, it would go towards that particular initiative.
Mhm.
Um, I believe we're going to move into a direction where your county will have to provide more. We have our social service agencies, they're doing a wonderful job.
Sure.
Um, but in order to bring the municipalities together, it's going to take the leadership initiative from the county,
Sure.
from county government. So I believe those conversations are starting to happen because when you close encampments, the next neighboring municipality is affected.
Sure.
Um, for us, when Springersbury closed their encampment, I believe May 6th, we saw that population come right over to Vance Park. Once we had our clear out, Spring Garden, West York, you know, some were moved and transient. And that's the nature of the population. So I believe it needs to be a coordinated effort. We do have the coalition for homelessness, but I think there needs to be a bit more, and those conversations are starting.
And a lot of people come into our more urban areas, including our boroughs and cities,
Mhm.
and some of our more built out townships like first class townships, because the services are here. And because the churches are so wonderful and other organizations that provide breakfast, provide meals, clothing, and assistance where they can. So folks actually come to where they know they can get help. And maybe part of this is how do we figure out to spread out those various services so people have an opportunity to not congregate in one particular area, and that becomes, the burden of that particular municipality. I know there's no short answer, but the creativity of local leaders like yourself who are really engaged to come up with some new solutions is what it's all about. I know you utilize community development block grant money. It's one of the last federal um, direct funding sources that go to local municipalities. And for the real small communities in Pennsylvania, they have to go through the state. But for cities and larger communities, you get direct funding for CDBG, and you can use that for some of these agencies if you have enough. And the
Yes.
problem is, over the last 20 years, you haven't had enough.
No.
And all the costs keep going up.
Mhm.
And in fact, the federal government has actually reduced and in some years tried to zero out the community development money. So you think if that was properly funded, that that could be a tool because you and city council can decide that you can allocate those dollars.
That would be extremely helpful. Very wishful thinking, but if anyone's listening, yes, we absolutely would love to have an increase in funding. We do go through the process. We're currently having conversations with stakeholders, with nonprofits to see where we can help um, under that eligibility, but we need more money.
Absolutely.
We need more money. So, yes, that would help us so that we could help
Yeah.
our stakeholders.
And obviously, citizens can not only support candidates for Congress and for state office that are looking to invest in our communities, but they certainly can support their community organizations, as you've been mentioning,
Yes.
and churches and other groups
Mhm.
that are on the front line to
Mhm.
help people. They can do that too.
Yes. If you go to our YouTube, for the city of York, and you want to know how that day occurred for our compassionate clear out, we have a very, comprehensive coverage for a video. Today is part of our compassionate clear out. This is one of the areas that our staff, our crews will be clearing out. This is the largest encampment, homeless encampment in the history of the city of York. So it will take longer than a couple of days to address the issues. This wasn't an easy job. And once we walked the entire encampment multiple times, we knew it. But for us to give those who were in the areas plenty of time to move out and to take advantage of the services that external parties offer, we wanted to offer that opportunity. We want to make sure we're taking care of not only our residents throughout this area, but our children as well, but also offering the compassion to the people who lived in this area to provide them with services that are available.
Mayor, as we mentioned earlier, this is not just an issue that popped up and you dealt with. You've really lived a life of service to try to help people. And I'd like you to talk a little bit about your family and the special role you've had in helping the community over the years.
Absolutely. This was a difficult decision to make when it came to the compassionate clear out, just because of the history that I have. My father, Vietnam veteran, was involved all of my life with serving our unhoused population. And as a kid, I call it now mandatory volunteer work, but we didn't have a choice. And our father had us out serving the community, feeding um, unhoused populations, helping out where we could. And that was something that always stayed with me. Even when I went off to college, I always participated in community outreach for our homeless population. Um, and so to this day, I still do.
Mhm.
And this hat as being mayor, it for me is so important because not only is it my labor of love, but it's a way for me to connect to my father and everything that he instilled in his legacy. Um, and it will be for all of my life. When it came to serving in this role, it was so important when we were leading up to the clear out that we exhausted all resources to help everyone who was there that wanted to help. Um, it's just what my father always taught us to do. So it's always the model of helping individuals help themselves without necessarily giving a handout. But when you are providing those resources, it's that pathway to help them stay on the right track. And so it's instilled as a kid, father not only helping fellow veterans, but helping our community.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people know this, but of course, his name is Sandie Walker. Uh, and as he was affectionately known in our community here in York as Mr. Sandie.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
I certainly would never forget his presence. He was a larger than life figure
Yes.
in so many ways, and really was a true advocate
Mhm.
for his neighborhood and for his fellow citizens. And I know you get it honestly,
It's
and I know, like you said, from day one, you've been giving back in the community, and I know he's looking down and smiling on you. I know that.
Thank you. Both of our fathers have left a lasting legacy, so
No doubt.
making them proud, right?
Which we try to do, right?
Yes.
That's
Mhm.
all we can do is try. But
Thank you.
I
I
really
appreciate
appreciate you sharing that with everyone. I think it helps people understand that you come to the role as mayor, but you come to that role with a variety of experiences and background. And you have a lot of wonderful experiences we can talk about in other podcasts because you are a wonderfully interesting and dedicated person. But we thought this particular topic was important, and we know how important it intersects with your life work.
Yes. Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say or add on the compassionate clear out or the work you've been doing to strengthen housing overall here in the city of York?
Well, first, I always want to say kudos to the team. I eh, I came with what I wanted to do because I know we needed to do it when it came to our clear out, but the expertise that the staff were able to give, and it led up to our June 2nd clear out, and that day went smooth. I mean, nothing went wrong at all. So kudos to staff. Now, when it comes to housing, we're trying to get creative. We're working on developing a housing plan. Uh, we are grateful for those who are choosing to invest in the city of York for mixed use housing. And for me, I know market rate sometimes is not popular, especially in this economy, but sometimes we have to look at it, for me, in my opinion, that it affects housing in general. So once you're able to offer more competitive rates, that opens up the possibility for more affordable housing. And I often find people get confused low income with affordable. And for me, the focus is helping our residents the best that we can. We're going to have an affordable housing roundtable next week with the York County Economic Alliance. We're getting that input and we're finding ways that we can help support. There is ARPA funding that we have to expend by the end of this year. And whatever is viable, we will do it. If it's not eligible, we can't pull it off. But I'm open to feedback and partnerships, and we're bringing developers to the table as well as our affordable housing advocates to the table.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure the door is open to any municipal official, mayor, council member, commissioner, supervisor, or staff in the state that might want to visit York and see the good work that you're doing here. The market rate explosion that is taking place is really fantastic with the developments that are underway. And some of them are not, the one phase one is what, 139 new market rate, and phase one of the
Yes, for the
Heritage Crossing.
oh, yes, Heritage Scholarship, yes. So with that, I I was fortunate to walk into some of this momentum, which was absolutely wonderful. But I do think over the next 2 years, we're looking at 500 additional units in the city of York. It doesn't meet the need according to the housing plan. I think we're at about 12,000
Mm.
according to that plan, but we're moving in the right direction.
That's right.
And people want to invest here in the city of York, and we always want to make sure we're letting them know that we're willing to partner and support.
Oh, absolutely. And we know that housing need is great. And you particularly mentioned mixed use.
Yes.
And so having housing and having commercial opportunities available at the same time
Mhm.
is really important. It will help lift all boats.
Yes.
And there's no question about it. It's already making a difference in neighborhoods where you can see that there are property owners investing
Yes.
in those properties. So your point about how it's connected and how it opens up other opportunities, I think is a really good one that we don't always think about.
Yes, and I think it's our responsibility when it comes to community development is to make sure that neighborhoods are engaged, um, their voices are being heard, they are aware of what's happening, um, so that the negative perceptions can actually be faced with fact, and that's where I feel like just being a native here of the city, some people will be willing to hear what we're trying to do to help support and to make the connections with developers who aren't from here but who are building here.
Talking about the compassionate clear out, can you give us an idea of the cost? Was it expensive?
It we were estimated at about 20K, but that was with additional help. As I said earlier, I took the expertise and the information and the feedback from our teams. And because this was the largest encampment in the history of the city of York, we needed additional help. Uh, we didn't want to put our staff at risk, and we needed to make sure that we had certified individuals that would come in contact with some of the items that were found. So that was a cost for us. Our dumpsters were donated, and that's part of the outreach and being proactive and proper planning is once you start to get the messaging out, there's individuals and companies who are willing to step up. So our dumpsters were completely free, which was a great
Mhm.
cost saving for us. But there were some things that we couldn't work with when it came to in kind, and that was the safety. We need to protect our staff, and that's where the majority of the cost came from.
And obviously, when you have city employees out there or county employees, there is a cost
Yes.
to having those employees there
Yes.
on the ground to help get it done.
Partnership with the county was no cost. It was a collaboration with us. And then with our staff, it was part of their day. Was part of their day. A lot of them uh, have been here long enough to deal with various encampment closures. And the feedback that I received was just, it wasn't a matter of if something was going to happen, it was when something was going to happen in that particular area. And so I needed to make a decision. Our law enforcement were being called out. They're often fire department as well. And then our public safety crews were cleaning up the area, not only in the encampment, but outside.
Sure.
The streets, the bridges, the actual park.
Right.
And so all those resources that we're saving now because we don't have to send employees there, for me, it in a sense balances out.
So it was a real public health and safety
Yes,
issue that couldn't go any longer.
yes, absolutely.
Well, you did a fantastic job, and thanks
Thank you.
again for sharing those details. The other question we had for you is, let's go back to your youth just a couple years ago.
Yes, just a couple years ago.
So when you were a little girl,
Mhm.
what did you want to be when you grew up?
So I was a basketball player.
I can't imagine why.
Grew up Beds Park, Penn Park, all the, so I did want to be a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
At that time.
And you played a lot of basketball.
Yes, I did. I did. And WNBA, all that good stuff.
And
And
your position was?
I was a power forward,
Right.
and Chantel Tremitiere, who is
Absolutely.
a York City legend. She coached me when I was in middle school, and that was my dream to play professional basketball. So ACL and meniscus injuries changed that early on in college, and so that shifted. But I always knew I was going to come back to York and help out
Yeah.
however I could. And so when I came back to York, my first job was actually with the city of York and Mayor Brenner.
Under
Yes.
Parks and
Under Parks and Recreation. How ironic. So yes, my first job back
Yeah.
after graduating from college was with the city of York under the Brenner administration. Full circle here.
That was a long time ago.
Yes.
So how about this wonderful sports career? What lessons do you learn in athletics and in sports that are now becoming even more important in this realm of politics and government?
All about teamwork and strength and weaknesses. You know, understanding that you don't know it all and you can't get it done without the team. So when I refer back to the compassionate clear out, I approach it as a team. We're a team. I'm taking everyone's strengths and weaknesses and we're making it happen. So that's the most important thing is that collaboration and working together.
And your first office you ran for, I believe, was city council.
School board.
Oh, I forgot, school board.
Yeah, going
So
all the way back.
why did you run for school board? What prompted you to step forward and put your name on a ballot? School board is like the most thankless role you could possibly have. And
Yes.
you get that huge salary of $0
$0.
for the school board. So why did you run?
So this goes back to I say our father always taught us we needed to be the change in our community. If we didn't like something, don't complain. Action. Action always speaks louder than words. So I came back from college. I was working for the city of York. I was asked to coach our girls basketball team. I said yes. And once I saw the condition and how our girls basketball team was treated and they weren't receiving the same as the boys basketball team, I went to a school board meeting and made it very clear that they were in violation of Title IX.
Mm.
Within a week, our girls had everything the boys had. And then I realized, oh, okay, this is how you make change. You have to be in the seats and be willing to listen to a feedback community and make the changes that are necessary. And that was the beginning. I ran for school board and served on school board for 6 years and then was encouraged by now she's recently passed away, Miss Tony Smith,
Mm.
to run for city council along with my father. And in that space, I was really hesitant, and my last conversation with my father before he passed away was, I wouldn't tell you to do something if I didn't think you could really make a difference. And that was related to city council. And literally a week later, he passed away. He passed away. So I continued, for the campaign for city council and took my seat in 2016. Thought I was done at the end of 2023. And lo and behold, I won't go into detail, but uh, we needed someone to step up to run for mayor. And even though I was hesitant, I go back to the words of that my father left with me. And so through all the ups and downs, it's one of the things where you know what needs to be done for the city. Um, and I felt like I could give it my best and do what I could in this role with the experience that I've gained over the years. So
Well, your
that's
dad
just history.
certainly knew you were up to the job, and you already have proven from school board to city council, and now as the mayor of the city of York, that you're certainly up to the job.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being with us again today. You've done a fantastic job, and we look forward to continue to work with you as you continue every day to make York an even better community.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mayor.
Yes, thank you.
Engaged with the League is a production of the Pennsylvania Municipal League, powered by AT&T. Strength through engagement.